Alright, welcome back, folks, to another Discord League cast. We have a round of 32 match between Pimittens and Neph. It is going to be a Crane versus Crab matchup. And so, just a quick look at decks. The players are about ready to go. We're just going to take a quick look. So, looks like Neff's list is the list that Shooterev has been working on. So, this is his Scorpion Splash, at least the conflict side. Scorpion Splash with one Fate Worse Than Death, two Calling in Favors, one Edict, and one Meek Informant. And so the Edict plus the Censure gives the Crane player 5 cancels, 3 different types.
Yep.
Neff's also playing a Mono no Aware, which is not at its best in this matchup.
Yeah, Crab is unusually resilient to Mono no Aware.
So Crab has the ability to keep their characters around without Fate. They have Vanguard Warrior to re-add the Fate. They have Reprieves and Iron Minds to keep characters from leaving also, so it's just, like, in this instance, like, that's why, like, Scorpion, for instance, can use Favored Niece to their advantage to get rid of cards like that that are dead in matchups.
Yep.
These Noble Sacks, though. Noble Sack is really important in this matchup. And so, on the Dynasty side for Neph, real quick, we do see he is playing 2 Satoshis. Mainly as a way to try and snowball into Yoshi, I assume.
One thing I will say about Noble Sacrifice is that the release of Iron Mine does degrade it somewhat because you can use that during the.
Yeah, it's a little awkward, right? Before you had to basically, like, you had to just preemptively reprieve your guy if it got dishonored randomly. Like, you had to predict the Noble Sack. Now, if you have Iron Mines, like, whatever, come at me.
Yep.
Admit Defeat is really good in this matchup, though. Admit Defeat is really strong, especially against stuff like Mountain Does Not Fall.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, Luke, why would we not be friendly? I don't. There was nothing personal about the match. I mean, it was a great game.
Oh.
All right, so taking a quick look at Mittens' deck. Mittens playing traditional Unicorn Splash. There's been a lot of rumblings about Unicorn Splash being a trap or not as good as advertised, and so a lot of Crab players have been trying out a lot of different splashes because the Unicorn Splash has not been performing in tournaments.
We'll see on that. I personally am fond of Crab Unicorn. I think it synergizes really well with Dishonor.
I agree.
I think that the classic game plan of getting Spyglass and other cards to enable card draw outside of the draw phase, and then bidding low and threatening your opponent's honor with Watch Commander while maintaining a card advantage, I think that's a really solid plan.
Yeah, we just need people. I think people just need to be doing it in a different order instead of starting low bid and then having to revert into high bid. You need to start high, establish control, and then put the pressure on.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. My own view is that you can't start bidding low unless you have an advantage or unless your opponent has allowed themselves to dip
Like
far down on honor.
Like, if my opening hand is like Spyglass, like 2 Spyglasses or like a Spyglass and something else, and I have like a Witch Hunter, and I know my opponent, like, since open decklist, I know my opponent has no attachment control. You can start bidding 1 there, right? Your Spyglass is gonna stick. You're gonna be able to do stuff.
Yep.
And so other than that, it's pretty standard. We do see Stoic Magistrate, which is decent against Crane. Crane has a lot of strong low drop personalities. Brash Samurai, Narishma, Savvy Politician, Cautious Scout. So those magistrates might come in handy. So I'm gonna let the players know that we're ready to go. One thing to know also is that Neph is playing no attachments, and he has 8 conflict characters, 5 1-drops. Oh, the players have already gone. Okay. Well, looks like we didn't miss anything. Looks like Neph won the die roll. Looks like we're just in Dynasty turn 1. So who got the first pass? Mittens got passed. Mittens just about Witch Hunter pass.
What is the game called?
It should just be Neph versus Pimittens.
There we go.
And then I posted the password in the chat.
Yeah. It was tagged as casual, which made me miss it.
Yeah, Luke, I personally don't think Stoic is that good, but it is very in against the factions that it is good against. It like does shine.
If we were seeing Lion being one of the top decks, I think Stoic Magistrate would be a very solid card to include. But in the present state of affairs, I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, it's one of those sideboard cards, right? Where if you had a sideboard, you would have that card. Oh, we see a calling in favors.
Now, I'll say one interesting thing also about Crab is that they're not playing Mia Satoshi here. I actually think that card is extremely strong for Crab.
I think people have come around on it like just recently. I think it's become massively accepted as correct now, and I think Mia Satoshi is incredibly strong in Crab. So we see a calling in favors. It is really awkward to dishonor this challenger. However, with
Yeah.
stuff like Way of the Crane and court games, it is feasible for this challenger to become re-honored quite easily.
And I think it's worth it to take a Spyglass off of Witch Hunter because that's probably going to be one or two cards a turn for quite some time
Agreed.
if it's allowed to go uncontested.
Especially since Neph doesn't have access to Cloud the Mind. Oh, see, we have some high level cranes in the chat here, so this we'll get some good insight on their thought process. So, Eric says expensive dishonor, and Luke asks what he thinks about the calling in favors. I'm not personally sold. I think it's worth doing. It's just awkward if you don't have a way to re-honor, right?
He does also only have two calling in favors in his deck.
Is that shameful? Oh wow, that's like the best case scenario, right? Like now you just get to draw a card and then re-honor your challenger for free.
Hitting shameful, that's somewhat unfortunate for Mittens. One thing that I will say though is that Crab doesn't care about the dishonor side of shameful very much, but letting Crane get their guys honored is usually not something.
Oh no. What if you just block here with Artisan and then Noble Sack it?
That would be pretty sweet.
Right, like
I think.
Oh, Neph just doesn't
No
defend.
defense. He may have a charge.
Oh sure, you charge Savvy Politician. That'd be pretty hype, right?
Yeah, charge politician would actually be super hype. Yep, there we go.
So charge Politician. Okay, so we can't see Noble Sack now, or we could see it if another province gets flipped, but I don't think that'll happen.
It would be imprudent for the Crab player to attack a different province, since Shameful will presumably be used. Yeah, so now he gets to honor the Savvy Politician. Ooh!
Oh, Assassination, really strong.
Yeah, good use of Assassination here. The Crab player is only on 2 Assassination. I personally like 3, but I understand why 1 might run 2.
It's tough sometimes. To run 3, if you don't get the cards that let you draw early, you don't get to pressure dishonor. Like Assassination is really good when your opponent is also feeding you honor to power those assassinations. But when you also have to bid high to find the right cards, it's tough to support them.
Yeah, I run 3 of them personally myself in Crab in large part just because the Assassination Way of the Crab combo is so good.
That's fair. So we see a Wayfinder come in here, reveals Garden, and then he's probably going to stand his Witch Hunter, maybe? We saw the Earth Ring claimed and discard a Young Harrier. Interesting that he chooses to stand the Witch Hunter. We could just see a political conflict here. Pull the Witch Hunter. Oh no, but then the crab box. Never mind. The crab box is gonna save him from the crane box. We see a political conflict on defend the wall though. This could be, and it's fire. This could be dangerous. Although we see this artisan here, so it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough to outpower this artisan. So we see court games to dishonor. So you see court games to honor and then court games to dishonor. So dueling court games. Now we see the artisan get put down. Does Crab have any fans here? If Crab has multiple fans, he does not. So looks like we're gonna get a Crane victory here. So Crane draws a card from the Spyglass, and we're gonna re-honor this challenger. I
I do
think.
think that Wichi Wayfinder was used a bit inefficiently.
Yeah.
What I would personally like to see is using the Wichi Wayfinder in a challenge prior to discarding it.
Well,
So
he
game
wouldn't have been
policy.
able to defend. Is the problem?
Yeah.
So the Wayfinder is like you. Are you just gonna take a? You just gonna take an unopposed attack from the challenger?
Yeah, let him pull you in or not.
Well, no, he just won't pull the Bowed Witch Hunter, right? Like he'll just you just break. He'll just break then.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, but then you also don't get like your Wayfinder is not gonna get a real attack, and it's just gonna get bowed by the Crane Box.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah. The freaking box scouting isn't important right now. Anyway, I was a
Yeah,
little
the
goofy there.
Wayfinder also did do some scouting by just revealing, right?
Yeah, what did he reveal? Was it Manicure
Manicure
Garden?
Garden.
That's good to know where that is, since that can be two fate for a crane player.
Yeah, so the one oh, we see a policy debate here.
Yep.
And so both players bid 4, interestingly. Um, I'm surprised that Mittens bid 4. What did he choose to discard? Oh, he chose to discard Skirmisher, it looks like. So Crab's hand is Bonsai, Policy Debate, Mountain, and Rebuild. Game's moving on at a pretty blistering pace, actually. Both players are already in regroup. And so, looks like Crane probably is going to keep Brash. You probably keep Brash Samurai here. Interestingly, the Crab player ditches Borderlands Defender. I really like Borderlands Defender in this matchup. Although we see Kasada Iron Mine. Alright, so Crane probably buys Brash Samurai Artisan again. And then Crab's probably... if I was Crab here, I could see buying both your small guys and then trying to dig for a charge. What do you think about that?
Digging for charge. Yeah, if you could charge that Casada, that'd be very strong. The Iron Mine is really useful here, even if he doesn't have a character that's going to lead play normally. It can protect him from assassination or noble sacrifice, though the Crane player is only on one assassination. And additionally, it could be used to keep Casada in play if we do have a
Mittens
charge.
goes down to 2. I don't like going down on bid right now. I would
Nope,
I
not
would
winning yet.
yeah, I would bid 5
advantageous
again.
spot first.
I would dig
Yep.
for charge, dig for another spyglass. Like
Maybe he already has the stuff he wants, but
no,
I
we saw his
would-
hand. We saw his hand. We saw his hand. It's policy
Oh,
debate,
yeah.
bonsai, rebuild, mountain, or the the 4 cards we knew. No.
yeah, it's a decent hand, but it's by no means great.
Let's see here.
Crane tried to attack the fertile fields.
That's a good flip for the Crab player. Fertile Fields is really strong here, and then he's gonna see 1 card from that, and then he's gonna see he's gonna grab 1 of 2 cards from the Yosuke. So, looks like on
So
turn.
what do you do here? Do you defend both the small guys and use the Hida Guardian?
Mittens bid 4 on turn 1, Luke.
Probably should have bid 5 then as well. He's defending. I think he needs to defend with both the Hida Guardian and the Shrewd Yasuki.
Yeah, I would bid
and
with
the Hida
both,
Guardian.
right?
If he doesn't defend with the Shrewd Yasuki here, he will likely lose his chance to use it if this province breaks. Since this is the only...
No, he has
but
a
that
rebuild. He has a
There we
rebuild.
go.
He could rebuild the mine. Well, I would just defend with both, and then I would first action
For action use.
Well, I would first action box.
Yeah, first action box. That's a good idea.
The problem with if you defend with the Yusuke like this, actually, I think you could defend with all your characters here because you have a mountain in your hand.
Oh yeah, good point.
So the reason you want to defend with all your characters is you want to box, but you also don't want. So if he boxes and then the challenger pulls the Witch Hunter will get bowed by the Crane Stronghold.
Right.
So you
you want to do it there so that you can box all your characters.
Yeah. So you defend with all your characters, and then you box all your characters, so only the Guardian can be bowed by the Crane Stronghold. And then you mountain the Witch Hunter.
So instead, he's using the Hida Guardian first to give the Shrewd Yasuki +2/+2,
That's also
which
reasonable.
is
And
yeah.
an assassination could get rid of the Iron Mine and turn off both of those abilities. But
As
then
a Hida Artisan using that ability, probably Shrewd Yasuki uses his ability now. Certainly, I hope so.
I would agree.
Yeah. You, I think I think it's slightly wrong. I think you probably should have used Fertile Fields first, because typically you want choices after you have the most information possible.
Agreed. What ring is being contested? Void. Okay, so he's gonna look to void off the Witch Hunter. Also protects his board from being voided. All have one fate. So yeah, this is fine, right? Because now if the Witch Hunter gets pulled, you can crab box. Do you pull the Witch Hunter here just to make it use this action? Oh no, he's a mountain, does not fall. Oh, so we see a policy debate on the Guardian, and so we see Talisman, Mountain, and he forces the Talisman discard here. You can't let that card stick on the board.
Talisman can be a big problem.
Um, yeah, I think ideally you'd want to take the Mountain, right? So then you can pull the Witch Hunter. However, oh, we see a Steward of Law here. Are we gonna see some for shames? Or I guess you just need one for shame. Yeah, maybe Talisman should have been played on the Witch Hunter. So you first action Guardian,
Yeah,
they Artisan, and then you play Talisman on Witch Hunter.
and that would enable him to move. What, he moves the conflict? He could move the conflict to Meditations and get that challenger cleared.
What was problem? Does he have Shameful Display?
Oh, policy debate coming back the other way. So now let's see what the crab player or crane player has to offer.
So
He
Crane has Noble Sack, Political Rival, Test of Skill, double for shame, second charge, and admit defeat. So the crab player is playing Shameful Display. So I think I think instead of moving to Meditations, you can move to Shameful.
yeah,
This
and
is
then
prior to the Steward of Law being there.
right.
Although it might be safer to move to Meditations because of the threat of Steward, right? Because if you move to Shameful and they play Steward, it's really awkward. So I wonder what Crab takes here. I could see Test of Skill being a reasonable choice. It's gonna give 2 cards to the Crane player. So, or maybe the Noble Sack if you're scared. You could take one of the for shames, but it doesn't really help you that much. The Rival is a good choice also. Like Rival's really annoying to deal with. What do you take here if you're Crab?
If I'm crab, I think this is really not what you want to see. I think actually there's definitely more problematic stuff. In particular, having 2 for shames is pretty nasty. I think,
Eric's saying Rival. We see Johnny saying Rival or one for
yeah,
shame.
I think I think rival is probably what I would go after also, but it's not fortunate.
I would be okay with Rival or Test of Skill.
Yeah, that's fair. Test of skill.
It's just gonna hit. It's just gonna hit, right? Like you just say event and you're gonna hit. You're gonna hit. You have 33 events in your deck. And yeah, so Neph has discards Test of Skill.
Okay.
So we see the first shame on the Yusuke. Not surprised. We're gonna see. What was that? Is that a Tetsubo? That is a Tetsubo. Wow. So he's just gonna Tetsubo this challenger.
Very interesting.
He clears the way. He clears the way in Tetsubos. Oh, he needed to crab box first. That was a mistake. He needed to crab box first so he could have mountained his witch hunter.
Hmm.
Because then you can stand your Yasuki to do your military conflict. Have we seen the Yasuki use his ability yet?
Well,
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
the
agree.
Witch
I
Hunter just be
agree.
bad by for shame anyway? I guess you gotta make him play it.
Well, you make your opponent play the for shame, right? Like,
Yeah.
using the box versus playing for shame is way different.
Oh yeah, I just mean I'm not sure using Mountain is actually very safe here.
Well, you just sacrifice your guardian to stand it in the conflict,
Got it.
right? Because the guardian's not going to do anything anyway.
Yeah, and then you're still in, and then you maybe pass your Okay, yeah, I see what you mean.
I think that would be my line. You then can defend the military attack.
So we do have a break, and the Void Ring will remove a fate from the Steadfast Witch Hunter. Now, presumably that Witch Hunter is going to stay in thanks to rebuild onto the Iron Mine.
It does not look like the Shrewd Yusuke was used. Do you want to quickly scroll here?
That's a huge mistake if so. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I was scrolling. I do not see the Shrewd Yusuke use its ability. But there's a lot.
No, he used it. He used it.
Did he? Okay, I see. There's a lot of text here, so.
Boy, if
Oh
he had
yeah,
not
Shrewd
used
Yusuke
that-
to look at the top two. Okay.
Yeah, because we were talking about how it might have been better to do Fertile Fields first. Okay.
Johnny says I forget the crane box all the time. Come on, dude. Use box. So right, so if he done the line that I go with, now you can defend this conflict and then still get an attack off. So we see Brash Samurai going in, contesting Earth. This is really risky by Crane. Contesting the element of the Keeper can always lead to some blowouts, especially on Defend the Wall. If Crab found a charge, we could see Charge Kasada here, and that would just be brutal. We do know that Crane has charge. Yep. So if Crab doesn't first action charge Kasada, we could just see charge Guest of Honor if we really needed it. But we're gonna see Brash Samurai use its ability first. Gotta make sure you sequence things correctly. Mitten's trying to figure out if he wants to defend. Brash Samurai honors. So Crab just takes a break. Wow. Oh, Alright. Again, on my soapbox, we see Neph here choosing to discard a face down card against Crab, and he hits a keeper.
Wow. Yeah.
So,
that's just
again,
just a basic mistake.
Yep. Again, folks, like I'm not ragging on anyone in particular. This is just something I see all across all skill levels by lots of players. Keeper clans. I think against keeper clans, you should never ever discard face down cards. Because if you had a keeper, it's such negative value. Second, against Crab, other than keepers, you can hit holdings. Like, if he hits Karada District there, the Crab player can rebuild and grab his Spyglass back. Like, there's just so many bad things that can happen.
Yeah, it's not worth the risk. Unless someone is like playing Mia Satoshi and has milled themselves down really low.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a special case, because that does not happen in normal games.
So, I think he's going to attack the Manicure Garden, because he knows it's there. Or you could go scouting, because you'll hit either, you'll hit meditations or fertile. Oh no, he's playing Art of Peace.
Art of Peace. Okay, yeah, I would scout here.
I would scout for sure. I would definitely scout.
I don't want to give the opponent 2 fate.
Yeah, I'm okay giving them one fate from Artifice. I'm also okay breaking Artifice with Witch Hunter.
And finding meditations are great.
Yeah, agreed. Crane's Province Row is actually not scary at all after Shameful's been broken. Like, this Province Row is not that great. If that
Yeah,
Artifice was Fertile Fields, for instance, that would be two provinces that could gain incremental value.
yeah. Crane is in an interesting spot. They do have a seeker role, which is kind of what you want.
So fighting Walloon, discarding face down cards against Seekers and non-Crab is fine. It realistically doesn't do anything unless your opponent is playing, say, Mia Satoshi. It's or their Dynasty deck is really low. So you have to think about it this way: a face down card is random regardless. So Lion's a keeper clan. I would never discard a face down against Lion. One, because of Spirit Caller, and two, because of keepers. I would never discard versus Lion. Even if they were Seeker, even if Lion was Seeker, I would still not discard versus them. So we do see the Manicure Garden being attacked here. I do think scouting would have been more prudent, but we'll see. So contesting Water here, will he gain? Oh, he can tie favor, so he can use this to tie favor.
Yeah. So I think I do personally like air. Um,
It
what
is it is
I
important
don't
to
know.
deny favor.
There is Kakita Yoshi. There is censure. I do think the favor is actually pretty important here, and the opponent isn't close enough yet for the air ring to be like super impactful. He did go to Manicured Garden, which I don't like.
You could see so next turn we can see Mia Satoshi. So we see Mia Satoshi, and then he has 6 fate right now, right? So you see Mia Satoshi, and then if you find Yoshi, you can buy Yoshi with favor.
He won't have the favor though, will he?
Well, I'm saying if you went air this turn, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Okay, so
So we see a charge
charges
Guest of
the
Honor.
Guest of Honor, which prevents a break. That might well be worth it.
I think
especially
that's worth it.
They just got the 2 fate from the Seeker of Air and the Manicured Gardens. That puts them in a pretty good spot economy wise.
So we see the rebuild on the mine. No, the Earthring didn't draw the Crane player into a cancel, so that resolves. We're gonna see the mine save this Witch Hunter. The
Yep.
Challenger finally goes away. So after the
Yeah,
dust settles, I think that the Crab player isn't as far behind as they could have been.
I agree with that, but I will point out that they're only on 3 cards and they are down by 2 provinces. I really do think the Crab player needs to be bidding higher to get the options they need.
This is a strong flop by Crane here. Weenies are
strong
just
for
really good
Crab
here.
also. So Crab can easily here play. Ooh, he goes Casada 2 Fate. He can also maybe buy a Caillou Envoy.
Yeah, I would buy
and
Envoy
he has
too.
a storehouse. Yeah, so I think Crab actually has a pretty strong flop, but Crane does too. So both sides getting some good stuff. Crane hasn't seen their big guys, but
Crane not putting any fate on that Steward of Law is really awkward. I think maybe you're supposed to put 1 fate on that Steward of Law, because you have double for shame.
yeah, with 2 for shames, I agree.
And it's not like you were hurting for fate, right? Like you had a lot of fate. Interestingly, he doesn't put any fate on this Whisperer. Let's see. I think I might pass here instead of playing Cautious Scout.
It's very possible that he'll be playing. It's very possible that he'll be going for Mono no Aware, but the Crab player is counterplaying that quite effectively.
Yeah, playing Mono on this turn would just be not good, right? Like these are the instances where, like people were thinking the card was gonna be insane, right? But that's like instances like these where it's just like not that great.
Mono does tend to be a weaker card against Crab.
So we see Neph bid 4, Pimittens bids 3, and so again, Crab is just down on cards right now, down 4 cards. He needs to see a Spyglass. Spyglass and Casada right now would be very strong. So you could Spyglass Casada, go for air to grab 2 fate, and then you can attack with Casada Envoy. Crane does have Noble Sack. So we do have to watch out for Casada becoming dishonored. So if we see Crab attack with Casada and Crane plays for shame, if Crab does not choose to bow or have a reprieve, we can see Noble Sack with the Brash Samurai.
Hmm. I do think that the crab player is still underbidding here,
I
but the
would agree.
crane is starting to get a bit low on honor. If we do see a watch commander come out, if we do see a watch commander come out, it could be pretty impactful.
Uh,
Hiruma skirmisher coming out here,
it could.
probably to
Well,
dodge.
so here's the thing. It could be impactful, but the problem is that if like Crane's having a is gonna have at least one honor character leave turn this play. With
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, Crane's honored characters are often a good way to just stay afloat honor wise. So I think actually Pimittens is bidding kind of non-committally in the middle ground.
Johnny, it doesn't matter that you sack the storehouse before Yasuki. You have opponent has Imperial Store or Imperial Palace.
It does matter actually. It looks like because he's attacking the Imperial Palace.
Oh, okay. It matters if you take this line of sequencing. Like,
Yeah, this is bad sequencing.
if this is the line that you're gonna take, it does matter.
Though perhaps he thinks the Crane player will be able to defend.
Do you just not defend this?
You could, or you could defend with the
The Rash Samurai.
yeah.
And that looks like what he attempts to do. Johnny's in chat here taking notes on his upcoming match versus Micah since he has to play the same matchup.
That's gonna happen quite soon after, right? We're doing
Yeah, so that
a
one's
doubleheader
at 2 p.m. Pacific time. So
Oh, okay. So there might be a bit of a gap. Depending on
yeah,
how
so grab some food or take a quick break. So Neph,
Ooh,
that's smart. Neph tries to use Brash Samurai's ability, obviously not doing anything regardless, and
is
it
that
cancels
legal?
Kasada. I don't see why not.
Because it's an ability that doesn't do anything. You can't initiate abilities that don't have effects.
Well, this character's your only participating character in a conflict. Honor this character. Alright, let's go to the rules channel, I guess.
Yeah, because typically you're not allowed to take actions that don't do anything. So it seems strange that you could initiate that, given that the Brash
Soldier
Samurai is
Token
already
says
honored.
if you can't honor Brash Samurai, you can't use his ability. I need, Heinzel saying that shouldn't be legal. See, this is one thing that I wish. So in Magic, I have played so long that I know I know almost all the rules interactions. I just haven't played this game long enough to know the rules interactions.
Yeah.
So Johnny says it's not legal, no change in the game state. And so let's see, Mittens here is saying a triggered ability can only be initiated. Seems like it's not legal. Okay, I will let the Jigoku devs know that. So we see Scorpion King saying no game state to change. Yeah. All right. So it looks like the consensus is that it is not a legal action.
Yeah.
So
we may have found a little bug in Jigoku here.
I'll just let Jadiel know that this is possible.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, there's a general rule in this game that you cannot initiate triggered abilities if they don't have the potential to change the game state. And so in this case, because the Brash Samurai is already honored and the ability doesn't do anything except for honor it, you cannot use his ability, which means that Neph should be unable to use it to waste Kisada's trigger.
Only something if you want to, or if this changes your block. Well, I'm not sure. So if this so the problem that I have with the scenario here is if Neph makes this block thinking he can do that, and only because of that, then obviously he doesn't want to block, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's your fault for not
No,
knowing
I
the
agree,
rules.
right? Like, so that's the thing. So
Yeah.
I think the ruling should be that if he wants to waste Kasada's action, he has to basically manually put something in the graveyard
Uh,
or manually activate something that is legal. So, but he can't activate meditations. So basically, he would have to play a card. Why I am an admin though, Luke. But I mean, I will get a second opinion.
I think just letting him pass here is fine.
Okay.
I think yeah. So then what's the conflict strength here? It's 6 to 4.
4, 5, 6 to 4. Correct.
Yeah, so it's a little unfortunate for Neph if he was planning to waste that and then Bonsai to win the conflict or whatever, but he has other things he could waste. He could use his Azahina Arden here. It's a little more it's probably something that he wants to actually save. But yeah.
Okay, so we see a bonsai from Mittens.
Yeah, so Bonsai from Mittens, interestingly, he puts part of it on Haruma Skirmisher.
Interesting.
His Bonsai is on both of the smaller characters. It's possible he's trying to bait assassination here, but I doubt it.
Well, it would get canceled by Kasada.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, I don't know. It's very likely they're actually a waste.
That's fair.
Oh, listen, we got a pass. There's the break. So we do
Okay.
see the Shiyasuki getting wasted this turn, assuming there isn't another rebuild.
So this works out. So we do see the players manually able to resolve the situation. I have informed the developers that yep, so JIDL says thanks for the bug report. I'll submit a fix. Awesome. Good job, chat. We saved the day. Luke says back in my day when we played on Tabletop Sim, we had judges on call for single elim games.
Tabletop Sim had a lot of problems and things that you needed to track manually because of just certain situations. So it was more necessary at that time as well.
Soldier Token says that was the dark times when you play 2 attachments and your character would go flying.
Yeah, because of the physics simulation in Tabletop Simulator, there were some serious issues at times. In particular, if you were playing Dragon and you had towers of attachments, it would adding new ones would frequently like bump the previous ones. There was one game where it was lagging so much that if I tried to do anything, my stuff would fly across the board, and I had to have the admin move my cards for me.
So we see a political attack here. He needs to covert the Suzuki, which he does correctly. And this is where the rival, not taking the rival, could come back to hurt him. The rival having covert's really strong.
Yeah, though the Yasuki.
It's not a duel, so it can Tetsubo the rival.
Yeah,
Um,
Yasuki has been somewhat squandered, I think.
Agreed. I think he sacked the storehouse, and then he thought he would be fine having the palace still there, and then he's like, "Shit, I want to attack the palace." Right? Like that. I think that's exactly how the line went in his head.
Or he had rebuild.
I guess. Yeah. Then you can just rebuild the mine. That's fair.
We're seeing a double defense here. Now he needs to use his stronghold before he uses shameful. It is very important to use the stronghold here to avoid being bowed by the crane stronghold. Though
Yes.
actually, Casada is still active, so perhaps you could use Shameful first and try to bait the opponent into wasting the Crane Stronghold.
Oh, sure, sure, that's reasonable.
But on the other, Watch Commander comes out instead. Nice.
Oh,
Watch
okay.
Commander, we were talking earlier about how this is something that the Crab player really wants to see right now, and it could be very disruptive for Crane.
This is really strong on Casada also because it gives him it bumps him to 3 political now, so he's always safe from the Crane box. We do have to watch out for a noble sack with a for shame. Like, just this Casada getting dishonored would be playing with fire.
Well, he is playing on Shameful, though.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so yeah, that's fair. I probably honor Casada. I would honor Casada just to give him a buffer.
Crane Stronghold is canceled by Casada.
Yep. Okay. So I think I shameful honoring Casada and
dishonor Whisper.
Yeah, there we go. That's
the
correct line.
Play. So now
this gives Casada another layer of protection, basically. So we know that Mittens has a mountain, so he can mountain Casada here.
I do think that the Azahina Artisan that's available here means that Crane will quite likely win this conflict, even with the Crab box still remaining unused.
So
but we'll see exactly what happens.
Probably watering the Yasuki then.
Yeah, that and I do think the Yasuki's been misused a bit. On the other hand, this situation does make it a little more. It's okay that he messed up the sequence team with that Yasuki, given that he may not even get a chance to use it at all.
So Crab can now take the 2 fate off of the air ring, and really pressure the Crane's honor. So Crab knows that Crane's last province is Art of Peace. I would probably attack Manicured Garden. It gives the same number of fate, or same amount of fate, and then it doesn't risk any honor dishonor stuff. What do you think?
Say that again.
So Crane's. So I'm assuming he's gonna mountain his Casada here. We see
Watch Commander getting used here somehow.
Yeah, so we see a for shame.
Yeah, dishonoring Casada to no immediate impact.
Yeah.
We might see another one to enable that noble sacrifice, though.
Well, no. So what you? Okay, so we see a court games, and then we see a voice of honor, but then that loses him another honor. It also turned on voice of honor by removing the honor status.
Yeah, good point. So then he used it on a court games that was presumably going to honor Casada back up, just as extra insurance against that noble sacrifice.
Yeah. So, but this is a lot of honor that the Crane player is using here.
Yeah, he did lose 2 honor in this conflict already, just from Watch Commander. So Watch Commander is doing work here, and I think
if Neph chooses to say for shame Casada for if he plays another for shame, I say you bow and use your Witch Hunter to stand.
Yeah, that's or you just bow and stay bowed.
Well, you don't want to take the break, right? Like you don't want to take a break if you don't have to.
Yeah, he's lost 2 already. That's fair. You don't want to.
Yeah, so you stand and then you can mountain.
Yes. Ooh, Ornate Fan coming out for Casada.
Oh wow. Okay, so we might not even see the break.
This is a really good situation for Mittens. He wants to keep this Crane player playing cards if at all possible.
Oh, okay. So back to my point. I was saying, Soldier Token. He has not used Steadfast, which he did. He sacrificed the Envoy to stand the Witch Hunter. Yep, yeah, Witch Hunter has been used already. I missed that. Thanks, guys.
Calling in favors comes into play.
Wait.
So now we actually see that Neph is in a breaking position now, having used calling in.
I think this was a big mistake. I think if Neph had this calling in favors, he should have calling in favors the Watch Commander immediately.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think you calling in favors Watch Commander onto your political rival. And we see another voice of honor on the mountain does not fall. Neph is down to 2 honor.
So, in a certain sense, this conflict has been very good for Neph in that he got his 3rd break, but he is now on 2 honor, and we're seeing.
So the one saving grace for Neph is that he forced Crab to have no standing characters.
Yeah.
And now he's gonna grab the fate off the air ring.
Yeah, so he can now take 3 fate off an air ring.
No, he's just gonna do it immediately.
Oh yeah, he can. Yeah, he can do it now.
He does it now. Re-honors Brash Samurai, and then he just air rings for 2 honor, and then he's safe.
Yeah, that's right, because he was able to block him out and does not fall. Okay, so he's going to be, it's still not an amazing position, but it's a little better.
Yeah. Riot in the streets is actually really nice for Crab in this matchup or in this position. He just needs to find enough Bushi. He already has one, and if he has two more, he'll be able to use it.
They all have to be participating, though. I think Rat in the Streets is really bad, honestly.
It's interesting. It is a reusable water province, which is something that is nice. And so we do see all three. We do see three Bushi here, along with a mine and a storehouse.
Now, one thing I think we saw that I consider perhaps a mistake from Crab was that he used his Fire Ring trigger to dishonor the Brash Samurai instead of dishonoring the Brash Samurai that was already honored.
Oh, sure, to turn off Voice of Honor. That's
Yeah,
reasonable.
the former would have disabled Voice of Honor, and it also would have prevented Crane from gaining an honor from that at the end of this turn.
This might be
So
game actually. We can see. We can see. Kasada coverted.
we could see Kazada coverted, yes, and I think that Crane has the political strength to break here, assuming that we don't have some good tricks coming out from the Crab player. But let's see what happens. He one very unfortunate thing for Crab is that in this situation he does not have favorable ground in his discard for rebuild,
Agreed.
which would be very important with Kisada and Watch Commander.
That is another reason why Mia Satoshi is very strong in Crab. It just mills like keepers and holdings for you to go find with your rebuilds.
Yep.
So
Here
Yeah.
comes the big attack.
Yep, so he's gonna covert. Kasada sends in the three guys that are not Brash Samurai, and we're gonna see Crab try and defend here. Currently breaking, so Crab box brings him up to 5, which then is not breaking by 1. But if Crane has anything,
Crane can use box. Crane
Crane has
use
to cancel
Kaizen's
Kasada
duel.
first.
Crane can use Kaizen's duel to waste Kasada.
Oh
And
sure,
can
yeah,
use-
UK's in duel first.
Yeah, and then you can use the box, and then you can also use Asami.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I think this is gonna be it, but we'll see.
Yeah, so we see Kaizen indeed being used.
We did see
Interestingly-
Crab only draw 1 card, so maybe he was going for a Hail Mary of hoping that opponent would just kill themselves. I don't know. I think it's just like
Yeah.
impossible to defend this attack with no cards.
He did get a card from his storehouse.
So he's up to 4. We'll see here. So
Envoy gets bowed.
Yep.
Mittens passes. That's the game.
Yep, that looks like it's gonna be the game. Yep. All right, so Neph was victorious. I think Neph played this very well. I think Crab played too conservatively.
I do think that using the Fire Ring on the previous turn against the Honored Samurai would have been a better play. I think that would have put him in a pretty strong position to win that second conflict and keep Kasada up. I do think that Crane played a little risky with I think that Crane played a little risky with that Watch Commander, but they had the stuff that they needed to make it happen. I do think, however, that if Crab had seen a favorable ground here, the situation would have been very negative for Crane. Though, wow, apparently he only has one favorable ground in his deck.
Oh, he does?
I
Okay.
didn't realize that, and I don't agree with that at all. But that, yeah.
So we see
that makes this
Ham
seem a little
we
less
see
fortunate.
Ham Hops saying that the policy debate of 4. So Mittens bid 4 on the policy debate that he couldn't win, where Neph bid 4 to guarantee the win.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, I think Neph played around Watch Commander exactly correctly. So he played the conflict because he had enough information about the Crab player's hand left that he played the conflict with basically on the razor's edge, right, where he went down low enough but not low enough to lose because he knew he would bow out the Crab's board and get the air ring that turn.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I definitely do agree with respect to the 4 bid. 4 bid was too high, and I think his draw bids were too low. I think this is actually a situation where, so if he had bid 1 on the policy debate, the opponent would have actually lost, though of course he probably would have bid lower or something. Furthermore, I think that if he could have used, that opportunity, he could have made higher bids in other sectors. In particular, he could have gotten some more cards.
Alright, so that looks like it's going to be the match here. We have Johnny versus Micah in 1 hour. So, chat, if you guys want to join us again for another Crab versus Crane matchup, I will be starting the stream back up in 1 hour to do that again. Kingsley, are you good for that match?
Yeah, I think if all goes well, I'll be there, and it should be
It should be.
another exciting stream. We have the same clan matchup. Let's see if Crab can do better this time.
Different splash. That's the only difference is that
Yeah, yeah,
Micah is on Dragon Splash.
nice.
All right, so thanks again, Jayas, for joining us. Thanks, Kingsley, for casting, and we'll see you in an hour.
Later, guys.